welcome everyone. My name is Ansu. Today is day 2 of Bookmas and I wanted to do my November TBR. Wrong, completely wrong. I wanted to do my November wrap up. I ended up reading 6 books in November and I believe I finished all the books that I really set myself to read, which is really great. Good job, Ansu. But let's just dive right into it. I did finish 6 books like I said, and the first one I finished was Breathe With Me by Becca Mack. This is the 5th and final book of the Playing for Keeps series, and I have some thoughts. This falls around an ice hockey team and the characters in that, and I want to preface this by saying I did DNF the first book at like 30%. I did not like Carter and Olivia's characters. I absolutely despise them. And then continuing on with the series, I did like the other characters a lot more and I enjoyed the story overall. Breathe With Me had a very specific trigger, and that was infertility. This topic I think was done very well. The emotional aspect of that part was so heartfelt. It broke my heart in so many different ways, and it really shows you how it must be like for people who are suffering through infertility. I really like the way that it was written, but I have to say Becca Mack is a spicy author, so she does have a lot of spicy chapters. I felt like those sections that got put into here were unnecessary and just too much. I understand this is how she writes, but it felt really flat. I didn't really care for the way that it was written. It was almost disastrous, I must say. It was pretty bad. I didn't really love that. When Emmett and Kara first meet, the intense connection that these two characters are having and this just physical drive that they have for each other was insanity. What do you mean? That was so crazy. The way that these two got together initially just... The past chapters definitely were not my favorite, but the current chapters where they were going through so many difficult times broke my freaking heart. There was one particular scene where every cycle I guess she gets, she's like, oh, it's a fail now, again and again and again. It just keeps going like that. That broke my heart. Oh my gosh, that was so depressing. I have to give it that. I think I would give this more like a 4.5 stars. It was close to a 5. It's just that spicy chapters just came out of nowhere, and she was obviously very depressed because of the situation that she was in. And then 2 seconds later is the spicy scenes again. And I'm just like, honey, just like grieve for a second. It's fine. It's just so horny. The next one I read was The Ex-Vows by Jessica Joyce. I really enjoyed this book. This is a second chance romance, and I like this, I have to say. I think I give this like 4 stars. This follows around Georgia, who's very particular about the lists that she has in her life. She follows everything to the T. And one such list that she cannot live without is that of her ex-boyfriend Eli Mora, and she has like a list of what to do to avoid talking to him, letting their mutual best friend know the issues that they had faced. She really does not want to break up this three people friendship. And in the present day, it is Adam's wedding, so Georgia and Eli are the best people for his wedding, so they have to like figure out things and fix everything, because literally every single thing is going wrong in Adam's wedding. I don't even know how he's getting married at this point. Like, that just, it seems like a bad omen at this point. It was terrifying. The amount of crap that he had to go through was so sad. And then Georgia and Eli kind of step up and they try to save the day. Essentially end up talking to each other, trying to figure out like if they can actually work with each other, why they broke up. We're finding all of those things out. I did like the whole concept that, you know, they were talking to each other, trying to figure things out. That was nice. But Georgia, I felt like as a character who was almost 28, I think, did not grow up from what she was when she was like 21 when they broke up, something like that. And that really just drove me nuts. The immaturity that she had at 21, 23, whatever, makes sense, right? 5 years later, she's still the same. She does not want to take accountability that she did not even communicate before anything happened, really. And I was just like, honey, if you had talked, maybe you could have saved this. But you didn't either, so you need to talk at some point, and you didn't. So I didn't really understand that whole thing. It was just really frustrating to read Georgia as a character. But the sweet romance that they had, there's a particular thing that Eli does for Georgia every single time. He makes like paper rings for her, and I thought that was sweet. There's a little story for that as well, and I really enjoyed that part. Overall, I thought this was really cute. It was a nice book. If you're looking for a second chance romance, this is a fun one, honestly. So next up, I read 2 books from the same series. So it's Savor It and Left to Forever by Tara DeVitt. First of all, Savor It, I think I give like 4-ish stars. This one follows around a small town woman who recently just broke up with her longtime boyfriend because he was kind of an asshole. I think he was cheating on her. She wanted to like win a competition in her little town, but then she didn't have anyone to participate with. But soon comes in Fisher, who is a well-renowned chef. He has a Michelin star or 2. He's very well renowned, but he lost his job for some reason, and he's coming to the small town to make amends with his current boss and get his creativity back on track, get his shit together essentially. Sage is full on sunshine incarnate, and Fisher is kind of a grumpy man. They end up actually becoming neighbors. Fisher's also taking care of his niece after her mother died, and he's also grieving that whole situation as well. There's a whole lot of backstory there. I think this is really well done. It was very sweet. There's a particular scene in this one where there was a goose, I think. Was it a goose or a duck? I cannot remember. It was one of those where a goose or duck was involved with a niece. And I thought it was the funniest thing. That was so cute. And overall, it's just like a very small town, sweet romance. And these two characters really find their way. They have good banter. It's quite fun. I really did like this one. So definitely give this one a shot. What I really, really loved was the second book, Left to Forever. This one falls around Ren and Ellis. Ellis is the brother of Sage, the woman from the first book, and Ellis and Ren have known each other since they were like 5. They got a baby at like 17. They got married pretty young, and things happened very organically in their life that they fell apart. They didn't work anymore together, and they ended up getting divorced. Now it's like 10 years later, and these two characters are trying to see each other again, trying to figure out if they can get their spark, and it's never died completely. It honestly made sense why they got divorced. It was not a love lost. It was not a cheating situation. It was nothing bad like that. Felt so much for them. These two characters, they do have a teenage son, and essentially Sam gets accepted into college, and Ellis proposes that Ren and Ellis go to drop off Sam. These two characters will drive back, and they'll just go on an extended road trip trying to go through different places and just potentially rekindle their romance. And I thought this was really, really sweet. It was an adorable book. There was a particular scene in here when Ellis basically says that he still mows his ex-mother-in-law's lawn, and Ren is completely shocked because she had no idea. How cute is that? They've been divorced for years, and Ellis still actually goes and mows his mother-in-law's lawn. And I thought that was the sweetest thing. Such a sweet man. He's such a grumpy ass, but he was so sweet. I loved him. I thought this was just a sweet book. These two characters are meant for each other, and we can really see that shine through. Loved it. I really loved it. I give this 5 stars. I had such a good time with it. It's not like perfect fiction, right? But it just hit some sweet spot in me, and I loved it. Thought it was very well done. So this is definitely a highly recommended from me. Then I finished Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mehrer, and this is the second book to the Assistant to the Villain. If you're looking for a very light-hearted, a funny, quirky fantasy, I would highly recommend the series. This is, like I said, the second book, so we're trying to expand on what happened in the first book. So essentially an assistant to the villain. The villain is obviously the villain. He's a bad guy. Nobody really wants to work for him or anything. This lovely young woman named Evie Sage somehow bulldozes into his life and becomes his assistant, and she's just never scared of the villain, which he's never experienced before because everyone's scared of him. Everyone has to be scared of him, but she is just not that person. And I thought this was so fun. If you're looking for a very lighthearted, chill time, I think this is great. But also there are some fantasy elements to it because the villain does have magic, and like the country that they're in also does have magic innately, and it's them trying to figure out what's going on because some of the magic is kind of dwindling now, and they're trying to figure out if they can restore the magic as well. It's just super fun, very adorable, really quirky. There's a frog in here that used to be a human, and he just like pulls up these little notes, just judging the villain or just talking to these guys, and like one-word things like beware, delusional, like things like that. It's so cute. It's really funny. I really did enjoy this one, and I can't wait to continue on with the rest of the series. The 4th one is not out yet, so I'm just looking forward to reading the rest of it, and I'll keep you posted on what I think about the rest of it. The final book that I read was Slanting Towards the Sea. This one was a book that I came across by chance through Sarah Caroli's channel. I gave this 4.5 stars. I thought this was such a lovely read. This is more leaning towards literary fiction / romance, and I think the writing style beautifully done. So good. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the author's debut novel, and I think it's fantastic, especially for a first-time writer. Amazing. I think she did such a fantastic job. This spans around like 20 years. It follows around Ivana, and she got divorced from the love of her life, Vlaho, a few years back. They met as students in university in Croatia, and it's them finding their love, getting together, and all that kind of stuff. And then something really bad happens, and she has a secret that she's keeping from him that ended up in them getting divorced. Now Vlaho is remarried, and he's the father of 2 kids. And Ivana's life has taken such a bad downturn. She's taking care care of her ailing father. Her brother doesn't give two shits about the father. Her mother has died. She doesn't really have a proper job. It's a mess. Her life is an absolute mess. But the good thing that is happening right now is Blaho's wife, Marina, completely takes Ivana into their house. They have like a good relationship with Ivana. It's kind of sweet to see that, but also another character gets into this whole mix where Ivana finds a potential love interest and they kind of mingle. Things go from there, and it is very interesting. The entire dynamics between these characters are intense to see, and I really enjoyed it. I don't want to say too much because it would give it everything away, and I don't want to do that. I do think it's a lovely book to read, but if you are triggered by cheating, steer clear, because this definitely does lean towards a very cheating specific trope, and I didn't love that. But the decisions that Ivona made, I totally understood that, and I really felt bad for her. I thought she was a great character. She had such a good plot line. Also, the way that the author describes Croatia was beautiful. I've never obviously been, I only have like a friend in Croatia, and that's about it. But I genuinely did enjoy this book, and I give it 4.5 stars. It's a good read. Definitely wonderful writing style. I would definitely try to pick up something else that this author puts out. I think she has a very good writing style, so I did enjoy that. Alright, you guys, those are all the books that I read in November. I had a good reading month. I think 6 books are pretty amazing, I'm not gonna lie. And I really stuck to my November TBR as well, which is very surprising, like I said. On that note, I will see you guys again in a couple of days with another video. Let me know what you have read recently. I would really love to know. That is it from me. I'll see you all next time with another one. Until then, I'll talk to you all in the comments. Bye!